In this video today, what I want to talk about is finding growth in adversity and why that's good and how you can do it and how you can use that to become the best possible version of yourself. Because we can't avoid drama, right? Life doesn't go along flat. That's a false expectation. Forget about it. Life is good, life gets better, life gets shit. And then once again, it gets shit, we learn, we grow, we evolve, it's a purpose behind it, and then boom, we enter a new state of being, right? That's better than where we were, obviously better than the low point, but it's this new level. And what I want to talk about today is that each level in life has different challenges, it's got different learnings and different lessons, things that life wants to teach you. Now, I'm not religious personally, okay? But I'm definitely spiritual, I'm definitely a person that believes in energy and everybody being interconnected and all that kind of good stuff. And I believe that life gives us lessons, right? There's lessons in every single hard time that we ever face. Now, if I just reflect on myself, because I think, reflecting on ourselves is the best thing we can do sometimes. If I just reflect on my own life and the challenges that I've faced and how I've grown from them, like who I am today, the father that I am today, the man that I am today, the direction I'm moving in today, the meaning and purpose I'm trying to achieve in life today, I would not be who I am today without all of the pitfalls and hard times that I experienced in my life. Starting from when I was 5 years old, to running away when I was 11, to being in prison, to all the bad stuff that happened, right? Like every single time I hit that bottom, there was something new to learn, right? When I was 17 and went to prison the first time, what I learned about myself and about the world and I guess what I was trying to push onto me is, hey, dickhead, stop taking drugs. It's probably not the best thing for your life. And then I got out of prison, I evolved a bit if you would, and I got out and I was like, boom, no more drugs. And life was different, okay? I was going along here, a massive crash, and then boom, I just went up a little bit higher. Now, I was definitely not out of the fucking woodworks because then I started becoming an alcoholic. I started fighting with everybody that was back in the drug scene, but it was a different kind of problem. And this is what we do in life, right? We in effect, you should start thinking about life like this. I'm the most positive pessimist you'll ever meet, or the most pessimistic optimist that you've ever met. And I say that because I'm extremely positive and I focus on the good things and I focus on what I want, but I'm also real. And I don't have this kind of toxic positivity, which is everything's great, everything's great, everything's great, and your fucking house is on fire, which is stupid. I believe that life is like the process of we have these moments of great fun and happiness and joy, and then we're like it's approaching the next problem. Like that's just the way that it works because life wants you to grow. I want you to understand this. Like it's never going to give you something bigger than you, and it's never going to give you something you can't handle. And the time that you stay down here in this hard spot, right? Imagine it's like a line, down, up, away. And it continues. That's a cycle of our growth and a cycle of our evolution. We're always moving towards the next pitfall. And what happens though, as we become better about understanding ourselves, understanding the world around us, understanding our minds, understanding our emotions, understanding our behaviors and habits and everything like that, as we get better at that, what happens is that the amount of time that we stay down in that little pit gets less and less and less, right? You can't avoid the pitfall. It's gonna happen. Brace yourself, prepare yourself, understand it will happen. If you go through life thinking, geez, nothing's bad's gonna happen, as soon as something bad happens, how do you feel? You feel really, really bad, yeah? So expect, or understand, more appropriately, understand that you will hit pitfalls. And the way that we get out of the pitfalls is when we hit it, you're like, holy shit, the fucking house is on fire. What can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? What's life trying to teach me? And what I want you to understand here is that it's not always our fault for us hitting a pitfall, right? It's not always our fault that we hit a pitfall. But just because it's not our fault that we're in this shit doesn't mean that it's not our responsibility to get ourselves out of the shit. This is very important. I'll repeat that. Just because it's not our fault that the fucking house is on fire, we're in the pit, we're in pain, everything's hard, does not mean it's not our responsibility to get ourselves out of that problem. And what I've noticed, like I said, a decade now, pretty much a decade I've been doing coaching and training. And I've heard a number of different things from people with depression, anxiety, I've worked with addictions, I've worked with a whole heap of stuff, yeah? And like it can feel good, right? It can feel good blaming somebody else. And this is the problem with it, I think, is that it can feel good blaming someone else. It's almost like it relieves us of the pressure, which is our responsibility to fix something. And it's like, well, they did it, so they should fix it. And like, it's okay if you want to go down that path and live that kind of life. But the fact is that whilst I'm not an advocate of taking responsibility for other people's bullshit, if that bullshit's affecting me, then I'm fucking taking control of it and I'm gonna fix it, I'm gonna make it good so that it's no longer a problem in my life. And like, you've got a decision to make when it comes to the pitfalls and the problems that you're facing, right? Because sometimes, for example, we have problems with family. And I've seen this heaps of times, right? People that have just had the worst things happen to them because of their family. And it's so conflicting because like, you could have family members that are part of the problem. And you have to make a decision, like if you can't fix it, if you can't fix them, if you can't improve the situation, then you have to ask yourself, well, how important is it for me to have these people always in my life, always around? Because if they're continually making you feel bad, then the lesson that life's trying to give you most likely is, hey, let's create a couple of degrees of separation where you can love them, but you don't always have to be around them. And it's always about trying to find the light at the end of the tunnel. This is how we grow through adversity, right? This is how we grow. It's all about perspective. Perspective is king. So what we need to do is gain perspective on ourselves. And like, I understand completely that sometimes it's really, really hard to gain perspective when you're in the fucking pit. That's the reason why it is so useful to do some coaching, to speak to someone, right? Whether it's a friend, whether it's a family member that's not part of the fucking problem, right? But it's good to chat to someone, because when you chat to someone that's not in the same pit as you, what happens is they can give you perspective, right? Now, what you don't want to do is you don't want to chat to someone that's in the same kind of pit as you, because otherwise you're just going to be fucking bouncing off of each other, the same fucking shit, and like there'll be blame, there'll be denial, there'll be all this kind of bullshit there, and there's going to be no growth. It's not good for them, it's not good for you. So what you want to do is find someone that's either you don't want to find someone there. Where you want to find someone that's already out, right? They're and in a different spot in life, psychologically, emotionally, as a point of evolution. They're in a different place. They've overcome some sort of adversity and they've got perspective that you don't yet have. What happens then is they help you see things that you might not be able to see, right? Because when you're in the fucking problem, right? Like, look at my chair, right? Imagine this is the problem chair. Like, when I'm in the fucking problem, I can't see anything but the problem. So in order to get out of the problem, we have to get different perspective.